Hey everybody, it's Alexander A. Manzoni, and we're going to do some poetry. It's called The Vagrant Poet. The mute blackness of twilight is cut by the street lamps and headlamps of oncoming vehicles as the weary poet braces the blustery gusts of wind and walks the streets of the city. Where is he headed? Even he himself is not certain of this. Wanderlust has overtaken his rational sensibilities. He finds he cannot remain in one place for very long at all. As he lay in his bed months prior to his journey, he found that upon each night, his ability to remain still dwindled and decayed until he could do nothing but toss and turn and roll around in bed. His exhaustion gave way to manic anxiety as his hours of sleep went from 8 to 4 to 2 to none at all. Imagine a life without sleep, without solace, without dreams. It was on one of those frustrating, harried nights that he arose from his supine position and began to pack all that he could into a large green army backpack. What am I doing? He asked himself. What is this feeling inside of my bones, inside every pore and molecule of my being? Despite his initial protests and false starts, a fortnight later, he was off without a word, bidding no goodbyes to his friends and relatives. He pulled the battery and SIM card from his phone and smashed them in his driveway with a large bronze bust of Pallas he acquired on an excursion to the Mediterranean. The lithium battery exposed to air caught fire as he slammed the statue down upon it with all his might. His neighbors had come outside and observed the strange scene, saying, "What is he doing now?" quietly between themselves. Then the poet opened his garage door and went inside, his neighbors watching, wondering if they could call, or they should call the cops, as a thunderous din erupted from inside. Sounds of broken glass tinkling onto concrete, metal being bent and smashed into irreparable shapes, the hiss of air escaping galvanized rubber tires. The poet had completely ravaged his small hybrid hatchback with a 10-pound sledgehammer. When he was done with the deed, he busted a hole through the malfunctioning garage door and calmly stepped forth, carrying his bag and dragging the sledge behind him with what seemed to be an obscene display of serenity. He let the hammer fall softly to his well-manicured lawn and waved to his neighbors, smiling, saying nothing, and that was the last they ever saw of him. Cue. Cut to the darkened, windy streets of the city, one of multitudes that the poet had come through, trying to find inspiration or something close to it. He wrote as he walked, in the day and in the dark. It made no matter. He spoke where he could, at coffee houses and open mic nights. His words were often met with great enthusiasm, though always seemed to be victim of misinterpretation in one form or another. He would be pulled to the side by professor and editors who hailed his work as some great masterpiece, but for all the wrong reasons. He felt that one day he'd find the audience that would truly understand what he was trying to express from his soul. Until then, he kept on walking, day in, day out. The oncoming headlights of traffic becoming a formless blur. The people behind the wheel and the pedestrians, their faces distorting, fading, melting away into a generic amalgamation of plasticine nothingness. Eventually, he wandered away from the metropolitan Northeast and found himself striding the vast corn and soybean fields of the Midwest. And here was where he began to find the slightest semblance of inner tranquility. Over the plains and across the steaming asphalt, black as charcoal, though it was also here that his body began to fail him. For having traveled hundreds and hundreds of miles, his feet turned purple with infectious sores, and his body itself grew weak with extreme malnourishment. His jeans encrusted with the fine dust of the plains, the toxic grime of the cities, the stale sweat of the man, and no longer fit his waist. He added more notches to his leather belt and began to walk with a limp. A limp that grew more and more pronounced until a passing trucker stopped. He stopped and vehemently insisted he give the poor man a ride part way through North Dakota. "You look like the image of death himself," said the trucker. "What the hell happened to you?" The poet gazed upward at the rising sun and smiled weakly. "I am living my dream." The growing beams of light were broken into a number of rays by the bugs and stains covering the 18-wheeler's windshield. The poet closed his eyes and searched his pockets for a pen. "I must write about this," he muttered, holding up his notebook, pages dropping to his feet.